John, you've had, I don't know what your lineup looks like tonight. Is Andrew Peak playing tonight?
No.
Okay. This is a young guy who I think the franchise has big plans for. What's the thought behind keeping him out of the lineup this time of the season when you're looking at a lot of other young guys?
We saw Peaker play, gave him some games. We have other people we want to look at. I don't know else to explain it. Yeah, we want to look at Beirut or a number of different people, so we're making decisions accordingly.
Gotcha. What other changes you got in store tonight, lineup wise?
Elvis is in net. Dalby's out due to his wife is pregnant and is ready to deliver. He's back
Nice.
home. Stenlin is out, and so Max and Gerby come into the lineup. Defense stays the same.
And what do you want to see out of Max Domi after 2 healthy scratches?
Yeah, as I said, I just want to try to help us win a hockey game.
Thanks.
Other questions, reports? Go to Mark Scheib. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Glenn. Good morning, John. Despite all the losing, are you seeing signs of growth just in terms of guys trying to learn to become a professional despite all the losing?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because in my mind, I'm all over the map in watching this. Some guys I think are conscious of that. Some guys have struggled with that and continue. And this is why, and this is a big part of our situation right now, because we're trying to win every game. It's been a struggle, but there are other things that I'm sure Yarmo is looking at, and as far as the makeup of the people, all the things that come into to being a player, preparation, how they act on the ice, all the things that you're looking for in trying to redevelop your team as the organization needs to do. So it's a very difficult question to answer because I think it's all through the team. I give you a different thought, and I'm not going to go through the individual players.
Understood. And one more from me, just looking back at last game, watching the tape, it seemed that teams are starting to, I don't know if it's after the play, maybe trying to do some other things to your team, but do you feel like some teams are maybe not giving you the respect that you used to have?
Yeah, you probably heard me say that, I'm sure. And I certainly see that. It's one of the things that bothers me the most as far as where we're at. Happens when you're in a situation like we're in. I hope we remember. I do. I hope we remember as a group, as the individuals. This is where I felt we made our biggest strides as we grew. One of the biggest things, and it's for all organizations, is respect in the league. When you've had your struggles like we have, and now our team's been totally turned upside down, things like this happen. But I think you need to use it as a little bit of fuel as we continue to push to try to get this straightened out.
That's good. Okay, next we'll go to Dave Metzel. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks, Glenn. Torts, I know you've faced former players all through your career, and you know it happens almost every day. But when you see a guy like David Savard tonight, who carried so much water for you, do you have a different reaction or feeling about seeing him on the ice in another sweater?
Do I have I didn't hear what was the question, Dave?
Do you have any type of different reaction when you see a guy like David Savard, who carried so much water for your team, in a different sweater? And I mean, I don't know.
Well, he's been gone for a bit now. We're keeping tabs on him. As I said, I'm thrilled he's going to get an opportunity to play in the playoffs. And you know how I feel about him. I don't need to keep on explaining all that. He's been a huge part of this organization. So the best way I can, other than these next couple of games, and I don't want him to play terribly, but we want to try to win these games. I just wish him the best, and I'm thrilled that he's going to get an opportunity to play in playoffs, and he's going to help that team. I think it's an ingredient that will help that team as they keep pushing through the playoffs.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, John, just kind of getting back to what you were just talking about there with the respect factor and some of that stuff in the locker room. How big of an opportunity is this, these last 8 games or so, for the guys who are remaining, that are part of that core group to kind of, put their own mark and their own stamp on this team, without Nick, without Savard here?
Meaning who, Hedge? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Cam and Seth, and still those guys who are still around that were part of that culture that helped you guys become what you became.
Yeah.
How important is it for them to kind of step forward here and lead the charge back and just not let this thing spin completely out of control?
Yeah, it's their part of their responsibility, just to try to bail out the water, because we're taking on water, and it's part of their responsibility as far as this is concerned. It's a different situation for them because they've been in it. We've been in the playoffs for the past number of years, and to see the team basically be dismantled with, and some of it's with injuries too. It's not just a trading debt. We have a lot of people hurt,
Right.
that are part of that group. So it's a different club. So I'm sure it's different for them. Versus a young guy coming in to show, it's just common sense. Young guys have a different mentality. Those guys, it's a grind for them right now. And it's a grind for them because they're used to being in this situation. And for us, for the past couple of years, we're grinding to get in, but we're right there. It's a different story for them. So I'm sure they're going to try to do the best they can as we play here the next couple of weeks.
So much of hockey, is tangible numbers, like think this guy did this and this guy did that and all that kind of stuff. But intangibles in the locker room are kind of sometimes harder to see. How important are those things when you lose somebody like a Nick Foligno or a David Savard or, Boone Jenner's hurt, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It's and you couple with that with even new players coming in this year, trying to get the locker room set. Now it's been kind of rolling around here, losing those players, new players coming in, trying to get them integrated in. Now a lot of the core is hurt or traded. New players coming in from the organization, from the minors and playing. There's a lot of things that go on in that locker room right now. But guys like Jonesy, I think Jonesy has been he has been the epitome of leadership for me in through this tough time, because Jonesy doesn't say a lot, but he hasn't taken a shift off. He has not taken a shift off, and I think it's been good for me to watch that, to see how this guy has grown in understanding what leadership is, and I think he stands to the forefront as far as I'm concerned through a very tough time. But just the way he plays. So those are things you watch as you go through, even with the older players, you're watching those things too.
Thank you.